India is the world's #1 manufacturer in several major industries. While it ranks fifth in overall factory output, its massive scale makes it the global leader in many sectors. It is the world's second largest steel producer. It manufactures iPhones. It builds the components inside BMW's engines. It produces the robots that automate Amazon's warehouses. It makes the drones that are changing how India's farmers grow food. And in a laboratory in Bengaluru, a startup that was founded just 12 years ago is machining aerospace components to the same standard as the best factories in Germany, at one-sixth the cost. This is what Indian manufacturing looks like when it is not being underestimated. Here are 9 companies, some of them over a century old, some of them founded within the last decade, all of them Indian, all of them taking the world by surprise. Number 1. The company inside the world's best engines. Bharat Forge was founded in 1961 in Pune by Nilkanth Kalyani. Today, under the leadership of his son, Baba Kalyani, it is one of the most globally integrated Indian industrial companies in existence. A company whose products are embedded inside the vehicles, machinery, and weapon systems of the world's most demanding customers, even if Bharat Forge's name appears nowhere on the finished product. Forged components are stronger than cast or machined parts because the forging process aligns the metal's grain structure in ways that improve resistance to stress and fatigue. This matters enormously in applications where failure is not an option. Aircraft engine components, truck crankshafts, artillery barrels, suspension systems for performance cars. Bharat Forge makes all of these. The client list is a roll call of the world's most demanding industrial buyers: BMW, Mercedes-Benz, Volvo, Scania, Caterpillar, John Deere, Airbus, Boeing, Lockheed Martin. These global companies choose Bharat Forge because it consistently produces complex, high-quality parts at scale. It has earned these contracts repeatedly for decades. The company operates manufacturing facilities not just in India, but in Germany, Sweden, the United States, France, and Scotland. Acquiring and building facilities in the countries where its major customers need their supply chains to have local presence. The defense dimension of Bharat Forge's business has grown significantly in the last 5 years as India's defense exports have accelerated. The company manufactures artillery barrels, armored vehicle components, and advanced weapon system parts for the Indian Armed Forces and for export. Bharat Forge's engineering supports major Indian defense systems, from BrahMos missiles in the Philippines to artillery evaluated in Europe. It is not just a supplier, it is a key part of India's growing defense export ambitions. Bharat Forge is developing EV parts like battery enclosures, chassis components, and electric drivetrain systems. After adapting to every major shift in the auto industry, it is now steadily preparing for the electric vehicle era. Number 2, the startup that is automating the world's warehouses. Addverb Technologies is one of the newer companies. Founded in June 2016 in Noida by Satish Shukla and Singit Kumar, it is only a decade old. That decade has been one of the most compressed periods of growth any Indian industrial company has ever achieved. Addverb builds smart automation solutions for warehouses and factories, robotic systems, automated storage and retrieval systems, autonomous mobile robots, fleet management software, and warehouse management platforms that allow customers to run their logistics operations faster, more accurately, and with less labor than traditional manual warehouse operations. Its customers include Amazon, Reliance, Flipkart, Hindustan Unilever, Coca-Cola, and PepsiCo, a list that would make most industrial companies of any age proud. The growth trajectory is extraordinary. Over its first decade, Addverb averaged 55 to 60% annual revenue growth, with some years exceeding 100%. Revenue was 800 crore rupees in FY 2026, up from 600 crore rupees in FY 2025, with a target of 1,400 crore rupees in FY 2027. The company generates approximately 40% of revenue from India and 60% from overseas, a revenue mix that tells you this is not a domestic company that happens to export. It is a genuinely global company that is headquartered in India. In June 2026, Addverb raised $100 million and was fully acquired by Reliance Retail, bringing the Ambani Group's resources and distribution power behind the company's global ambition. With Reliance's backing, Adverb is building what it describes as the world's largest robot manufacturing facility with a production capacity of 60,000 robots per year. That facility, combined with the company's 7 global offices across Australia, Singapore, the Netherlands, the United States, Germany, and the UAE, positions Adverb as a genuinely world-scale robotics company, not a promising Indian startup, but a global manufacturer with global customers and global delivery capability. And then Adverb launched something unexpected. Elixis W, India's first wheeled humanoid robot. 6 feet tall, 80 kilograms, capable of carrying a 15-kilogram payload. Designed for deployment in solar and battery manufacturing, electronics assembly, and hazardous industrial environments including nuclear and chemical facilities. Adverb is building its first 100 humanoid units for deployment with 5 to 6 selected industrial customers. The company that started by automating warehouses is now building the machines that could eventually transform manufacturing itself, not just sorting packages but performing the physical labor that defines industrial work. Number 3. The company. The British said India could never build. Tata Steel is not simply a very old company. It is a company that, at its founding in 1907, represented an act of deliberate civilizational defiance. The steel plant at Jamshedpur was built because Jamsetji Tata refused to accept the British colonial position that India was fit only to supply raw materials for British factories. Steel was the most strategically significant industrial product of the 20th century. Building a steel plant in British India was a statement that India was capable of industrial self-sufficiency, a statement made with blast furnaces rather than arguments. Tata Steel today is a company operating at a scale that Jamsetji Tata would have found almost incomprehensible. Operations in 26 countries, production capacity of approximately 35 million tons per year, revenue exceeding $23 billion. The Chorus acquisition in 2007, when Tata Steel acquired the Anglo-Dutch steelmaker for $12 billion in what was then the largest overseas acquisition by an Indian company, transformed the business into a genuinely global force, with major manufacturing in the United Kingdom and the Netherlands alongside India's established operations. The quality story is the one that defines Tata Steel's global competitive position. The company has won the Deming Prize for Quality Management, the most rigorous quality award in the industrial world, and maintains certifications to the highest international standards across its product portfolio. Tata Steel's specialty steels, high-strength automotive steels, electrical steels for motors and transformers, and construction-grade products are supplied to customers who test and qualify every supplier and buy only from those whose quality is consistently above the required threshold. In India, Tata Steel's materials are everywhere that India's infrastructure transformation is happening. The new terminal at Navi Mumbai Airport, the Mumbai Metro Viaduct, the Vadhavan Port breakwater, the bridges on India's new expressway network, the structural steel and data centers being built across the country to handle the AI workload. Indian infrastructure is being built on Tata Steel, as it has been for over a century, with the difference that the infrastructure being built now is larger, more sophisticated, and more globally significant than at any point in the company's history. Number 4. The company that builds everything. Larsen & Toubro was founded in 1938 in Mumbai by 2 Danish engineers, Henning Holk Larsen and Soren Toubro, who came to India to set up a dairy equipment business and ended up building one of the most consequential engineering companies in the world. Today it is an Indian company in every meaningful sense, listed on Indian stock exchanges, managed and staffed overwhelmingly by Indians, deeply embedded in India's industrial and national security infrastructure, and generating revenues of over 2,21,000 crore rupees in FY 2026. The scale and diversity of L&T's operations defies simple description. The company operates across infrastructure, power, hydrocarbon, heavy engineering, defense and aerospace, technology, and financial services. It builds highways, metro rail systems, airports, ports, water treatment plants, nuclear power plants, and offshore oil rigs. It manufactures naval vessels, submarines, artillery systems, armored vehicles, missiles, and space launch vehicle components. It provides IT services through L&T Infotech, now branded LTI Mindtree, one of India's leading technology services companies. It finances projects through L&T Finance. The group employs over 300,000 people directly. The defense manufacturing ambition is the area of L&T's business that has grown most dramatically in the last decade and that has the most significant implications for India's global position. L&T holds the largest order book in India's private defense manufacturing sector. It has manufactured the K-9 Vajra self-propelled artillery guns deployed by the Indian Army, the Pinaka multi-barrel rocket launcher systems, radar systems for Indian Navy vessels, and critical components for India's submarine program. The company has invested billions in dedicated defense manufacturing infrastructure, facilities meeting MIL spec quality standards that are among the most demanding in any industrial sector. Internationally, L&T's engineering and construction business has established a significant presence across the Middle East, Southeast Asia, and Africa. It has built metro rail systems in Riyadh, Doha, and Dubai. It has constructed oil and gas infrastructure across the Arabian Gulf. It has built airports, hospitals, stadiums, and industrial facilities in markets from Egypt to Malaysia. The company that built the Bhabha Atomic Research Center's infrastructure and India's first offshore oil platforms is the same company building the infrastructure of the Gulf's most ambitious national transformation programs. India's engineering capability demonstrated at scale internationally with L&T as its most prominent ambassador. Number 5. The factory behind your electronics. Dixon Technologies was founded in 1993 in Noida by Sunil Vachani with a single product line, black and white televisions. 3 decades later, it has become the most significant electronics contract manufacturer in India, producing a range of products that spans consumer electronics, mobile phones, laptops, home appliances, security systems, lighting, and medical electronics, for an increasingly impressive list of global brands who have chosen India as their manufacturing base. The production-linked incentive scheme for electronics, launched by the Indian government, transformed Dixon's growth trajectory. PLI provides financial incentives to manufacturers who increase their production volume of specified electronics products in India above a baseline, effectively making India commercially competitive with the manufacturing cost structures of China and Vietnam for a range of electronic product categories. Dixon was among the first and most aggressive adopters of the PLI scheme, expanding its facilities, adding product lines, and winning contracts from global brands who were being offered PLI-backed economics for the first time. Dixon's mobile phone manufacturing business exemplifies the transformation. The company produces Samsung Galaxy series phones in India. It produces Motorola smartphones. It produces Nokia devices. In FY 2026, Dixon's revenue from mobile phone manufacturing alone exceeded several thousand crore rupees. Each phone moving through Dixon's Noida production lines is a data point in the larger story of India's emergence as a serious electronics manufacturing location, not simply an assembly point where foreign components are put together for the domestic market, but a genuine manufacturing partner to global brands who have evaluated the quality, the cost, and the logistics, and decided that Dixon in India is where they want their products made. The laptop manufacturing business, under the PLI for IT hardware, represents the next frontier of Dixon's expansion. HP, Dell, and Lenovo have all been working with Indian manufacturers, including Dixon under the PLI framework, to produce laptops in India. The global laptop supply chain has been almost entirely concentrated in China. The PLI scheme is the instrument through which India is inserting itself into that supply chain, and Dixon is the primary beneficiary. A company that started making black and white televisions in 1993 is now producing HP laptops that will sit on desks in offices across the world. Number 6. The factory making your iPhone. Tata Electronics is the newest and in some ways most symbolically significant of the great Tata Group's manufacturing ventures. It emerged as a serious electronics manufacturer when Tata Group acquired Wistron's iPhone assembly operations in India in 2024, transforming itself almost overnight into Apple's primary Indian manufacturing partner. What followed has been one of the most rapid and consequential manufacturing scale-ups in India's industrial history. Apple manufactures iPhones in India. This sentence, which would have seemed implausible a decade ago, is now the operating reality for one of the world's most valuable companies. Apple began shifting iPhone production to India as part of a strategic diversification of its manufacturing base away from China, a shift driven by a combination of geopolitical risk management, U.S. government pressure to reduce China dependence, and India's PLI scheme making Indian manufacturing financially competitive. Tata Electronics won and has retained the primary role in this diversification. The scale of what Tata Electronics is building is extraordinary. The Hosur facility in Tamil Nadu, where iPhone assembly is primarily concentrated, has been expanding continuously to accommodate Apple's growing ambition for Indian production. Tata Electronics is also assembling AirPods and other Apple accessories in India. The company has also acquired Pegatron's Indian operations, further expanding its Apple manufacturing capacity. The target that Apple and Tata Electronics are working toward is producing approximately 25% of global iPhone production in India by the end of the decade. The strategic significance of Tata Electronics extends beyond the Apple contract. A factory that can meet Apple's supplier standards, which are among the most rigorous quality and compliance requirements in the global electronics industry, is a factory that can meet any manufacturer's standards. The supply-based expertise, the process controls, the workforce training, and the quality management systems that Tata Electronics is building to serve, Apple create a manufacturing capability that India can deploy across the electronics sector. Apple is the anchor customer whose standards and volumes are pulling Indian electronics manufacturing to a new level of global competitiveness. The employment dimension is enormous. Apple's supply chain in India, anchored by Tata Electronics, employs tens of thousands of workers, the majority of them women. The social impact of a major global electronics manufacturing operation in Tamil Nadu, well-paying formal sector employment for workers who may previously have had access only to agricultural or informal sector work, is measurable in the livelihoods created and the communities transformed around the Hosur facility. Number 7. The global brand India built from scratch. Mahindra & Mahindra was founded in 1945, 2 years before India's independence, by J.C. Mahindra and his brother K.C. Mahindra, initially as a steel trading business. Within a few years, the company pivoted to assembling Willys Jeeps under license, the military vehicle that had proven itself in the Second World War and that independent India needed for its own terrain. From that pivot came everything: the utility vehicle DNA, the toughness-first engineering philosophy, the brand identity that would eventually make Mahindra one of the most recognized vehicle brands in dozens of countries. Today, Mahindra & Mahindra is a company of extraordinary range. Its tractor business makes it the largest tractor manufacturer in the world by volume, a position it has held for multiple years, selling farm equipment under the Mahindra brand in over 40 countries. A Mahindra tractor working a field in Kansas or Tamil Nadu represents the same thing, a brand trusted by farmers who need equipment that works in conditions that are unforgiving of weakness. The EV story is where Mahindra has made its most dramatic recent statement. The BE6 and XEV9e, the first vehicles built on Mahindra's Born Electric platform, launched in early 2026 to extraordinary critical and commercial response. The BE6's design has been described by automotive journalists as genuinely world-class, competing with the best of what European and Korean manufacturers produce. Mahindra holds 24.4% of India's electric car market, second only to Tata Motors, with 121% year-on-year growth in its EV segment in June 2026. For a company whose brand was built on rugged utility vehicles, the execution of a genuinely beautiful, sophisticated electric SUV platform signals a transformation of capability that the automotive world has noticed. The international trajectory continues to build. Mahindra's operations in South Korea, its partnerships across Southeast Asia, its distribution networks through the Middle East and Africa, these are the foundations of a genuinely global vehicle brand that originated not in Detroit or Stuttgart or Tokyo, but in Mumbai. The company that assembled Willys Jeeps under license in 1947 is in 2026, designing its own electric vehicle platform from the ground up and winning automotive design awards for what it produces. Number 8, the company making micron-level precision. Ethereal Machines is one of the newer companies in this video. Founded in 2014 in Bengaluru by Kaushik Mudha and Navin Jain, it is 12 years old. What it has built in those 12 years is a manufacturing capability that the global aerospace and defense industry assumed India could not achieve. Precision CNC machining, computer numerical control machining, the process of cutting metal to extremely tight dimensional tolerances using computer-controlled tools, is the backbone of aerospace, defense, and medical device manufacturing. An aircraft engine component must be machined to tolerances measured in microns. A medical implant must meet dimensional specifications that leave no room for human error in measurement or execution. A semiconductor housing must be machined to surface finishes that can only be verified with optical metrology equipment. India has had CNC machines. What India did not have was a company that designed and built its own CNC machines, its own control software, and its own manufacturing processes for the specific requirements of aerospace and defense, until Ethereal Machines built all three. The Nimbus platform, Ethereal's proprietary 5-axis CNC machine, is the centerpiece of its competitive advantage. 5-axis machining allows a cutting tool to approach the workpiece from 5 directions simultaneously, enabling the production of complex geometries in a single setup that would require multiple setups on conventional machines. The result is better dimensional accuracy, lower production time, and a finished surface quality that multi-setup processes cannot match. Ethereal designed Nimbus in-house, built it in Bengaluru, and operates a fleet of 30 of them in its Pune factory, giving the company full control over every aspect of the machining process, from tool path to finished surface. The commercial results confirm the approach is working. In June 2026, Ethereal raised $28.5 million in a Series B funding round, led by Avatar Ventures with Peak 15 partners, on the back of a 3-fold increase in MOS revenue year-on-year and a 10-fold expansion in production capacity. The company is building a 300,000 square foot mega factory near Bengaluru under a memorandum of understanding with the Karnataka government. It is staffing dedicated teams in the United States and Europe to serve global aerospace, defense, and medical device manufacturers directly. The cost advantage Ethereal offers is the fact that makes global buyers pay attention. The company operates at 1/6 the cost of its equivalent peers in Germany, Japan, and the United States. This is not because Ethereal's quality is lower. Its AS9100D aerospace certification and its 15-micron tolerance capability are the same standard as any competing facility in Stuttgart or Nagoya. It is because India's engineering talent, combined with Ethereal's proprietary technology and domestic manufacturing base, produces a cost structure that Western incumbents cannot match. The $220 billion global precision manufacturing market is being attacked by an Indian company that is simultaneously cheaper and technically competitive. That is what disruption looks like. Number 9, the company putting drones in India's fields. Garuda Aerospace is the youngest company in this list. Founded in 2015 in Chennai by Agneshwar Jayaprakash and Rithika Mohan, it is only 9 years old. In those 9 years, it has become India's largest agricultural and consumer drone manufacturer, produced 30 types of drones offering 50 different services, won the backing of MS Dhoni, been chosen by the Prime Minister of India to supply the drones for one of the most high-profile government programs of the decade, and built a business that has been profitable for 4 consecutive years. Garuda's business model covers 3 distinct areas. Drone manufacturing. The company produces 30 types of UAVs designed for agriculture, defense, surveillance, mapping, infrastructure inspection, mining, energy, construction, and public safety. Drone as a service. Rather than simply selling drones, Garuda operates drones on behalf of clients, a model that provides recurring service revenue, and that makes the technology accessible to customers who cannot afford or manage capital equipment purchases. Pilot training. Garuda operates over 300 centers of excellence for drone skills training, including the Drone Didi program that has trained women from rural communities as drone pilots. The Kisan drone program, which Garuda has been central to executing, represents India's most systematic use of drone technology for agricultural transformation. India has 146 million hectares of cultivable land. The application of fertilizers, pesticides, and micronutrients by precision agricultural drones instead of manual spraying or tractor-mounted equipment can increase yields by 10 to 30% while reducing chemical use through precise application. Prime Minister Modi's vision for India to have 1 lakh Made in India drones by 2026, which he communicated to Garuda's founder directly, has been one of the organizing principles of the company's capacity expansion. The financial performance is solid. Garuda generated 118 crore rupees in revenue in FY 2025, with 17.5 crore rupees in net profit, a 14.8% net margin that represents genuine commercial viability, not venture-funded growth at any cost. The company has been profitable for 4 consecutive years. Its EBITDA margin is 22.4%. Capacity is scaling from 8,000 to 12 to 15,000 drones annually, with a manufacturing expansion underway, including a 20-acre drone city in Andhra Pradesh's Orvakal region. The company holds over 20 patents in drone technology. An IPO is being prepared for 2026 at a target valuation exceeding 4,000 crore rupees. What connects these companies is a shared understanding that India's size, India's talent, and India's ambition are sufficient foundations on which to build manufacturing companies that can compete with the best anywhere in the world. The conventional wisdom about Indian manufacturing that India is good at software and services, but cannot execute at the physical, precision, high capital intensity end of industrial production is being disproved. Not by one company, but by different companies. Simultaneously, if this gave you something to think about, share it with someone who needs to see this. Like, subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.